Minister Narendra Modi has written a letter to the citizens of the country on the occasion of Deepavali, highlighting the successes of Operation Sindoor in the fight against Naxalism and asserting that Bharat has emerged as a symbol of stability at a time when the world is grappling with crises. We divide this on point in 5 parts. Operation Sindoor, end of Naxalism, GST Bachat Utsav, Atmanirbhar Bharat and respect for all languages. Prime Minister Modi said Diwali teaches us fight against injustice and uphold righteousness. We saw a living example of this during Operation Sindoor. Not just did India uphold righteousness but also avenge injustice, said Prime Minister. Now let's look at the damage that India and armed forces inflicted on Pak to avenge the dastardly Pahalgam terror attack. Pakistan suffered significant military losses during Operation Sindoor with over 100 military personnel killed along the LOC. India's precision strikes damaged 8 air bases, 3 hangars, 4 radars, destroyed Pak air assets on ground. These included 4 to 5 F-16s under the maintenance in the hangars, 1 C-130 class aircraft, 1 Hawk and 1 surface-to-air missile system. We also destroyed terror launch pads in POK in Pakistan, cross-border precision strike deep in the Pak hinterland. Pak air defense exposed with op completed in 23 minutes. India's air defense superiority underlined. Indigenous Akash system shot down hundreds of drones and missiles. India avoided civilian or non-terror military targets, showcasing its zero tolerance for terror. And key terror commanders like Yusuf Azhar, Abdul Malik Rauf and Mudassir Ahmad eliminated. Coordinated tri-service action demonstrating India's growing joint military prowess. Now, talking about the war against left-wing extremism, Prime Minister Modi said diyas were lit in many districts across the country where Naxalism and Maoist terrorism had been eradicated. Through a multi-pronged strategy, the government's efforts began showing results. The number of the Naxal-affected districts reduced from 126 in 2014 to 1918, 50 in 21, and 11 districts in October this year. As he highlighted India's reforms in the letter, PM Modi said India was on track to become the 3rd largest economy in the world in the near future. He said that the citizens of India were saving thousands of crores of rupees in the GST Bachat Utsav. A survey by the Confederation of All India Traders says sales of 5.40 lakh crore, rupees 540 lakh crores, 5 lakh and 40 lakh crore in goods and rupees 65,000 crore in services across country marked the highest ever Diwali season turnover in India's retail history. The report highlights a 25% surge in festive sales compared to last year's 4.25 lakh crore. Mainline retail outlets accounted for 85% of sales. The service sector generated an additional 65,000 crores in businesses during the festive period. Traders reported a strong rebound in consumer confidence. The Trader Confidence Index rose to 8.6 from 7.8 last year. The festive boom is estimated to have created 50 lakh temporary jobs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's call for buying Indian goods have emerged as a major sentiment driver, with nearly 87% of consumers preferring Indian-made products over imported ones. Modi also underscored the primary responsibility of the citizens is to fulfill their duties towards nation. Going with the spirit of Make in India, he urged citizens to adopt Swadeshi. The biggest example of the success of Make in India under the NDA government is defense production. Arming India's defense exports have surged from 1,941 crore in financial year 14-15 to 23,622 crore in financial year 24-25, reflecting a remarkable increase in export value. In 24-25, India's domestic defense production reached 1.50 lakh crore, marking a record high with an almost threefold increase from 46,429 crores in 14-15. To promote the spirit of Ek Bharat, Shresh Bharat, PM Modi urged people to respect all languages. Now let me introduce my guest, because language problem, as I'm telling you, became a big bane in the Indian society, starting on the issue of regional pride. Since the division of country post independence interiorly was on the linguistic basis. I'm joined by Shubhamoy Bhattacharjee, Consulting Editor, Business Standard, and I'll be joined by Lieutenant General Arun Sahni, former General Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Indian Army and President, Information Security Council of India. Thank you, both of you, for joining me. Let me straight away go to Shubhamoy Bhattacharjee today. One thing was pretty much evident, that GST Bachat Utsav did have its dividends. How do you sum up the market sentiment, sir, and the way people responded?
Shubhamoy. Karthikeya, the big thing that's happened with the GST rate cuts to 5% and 18% is that the best is still ahead of us. Now, that might seem like a very super patriotic thing to say so, but it's actually true because what we have seen is about 10 days in September and about another 20 days, about just about a month of the impact of the GST changes. There's a lot more that comes along because what happens right now is that you're getting basically the inventories that had been stocked up by the companies coming into the markets with the reduced prices. But what comes along now is basically the industry being able to manufacture things at the reduced input costs. That itself is a substantial advantage. And then being able to push on. So I do expect the pressure, the impact of the GST rate cut, just as the rise took time to play out. Similarly, the rate cut, the benefit, as we have seen, will become even more pronounced over this quarter. And why do I say so? Do I have any indication or do I have any figures to buttress my point? I look at what the RBI data shows. And the RBI data shows that this year they have actually raised up the estimate for GDP. In fact, that is not a surprise because the RBI works with very granular data, and that clearly shows that there is a lot that we can now be
Okay.
expecting going ahead.
Okay.